Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thursday, the 25th of February, 2021, and we are on session F2 in our unit, Freedom 2. I did not put the 2 on there, I apologize, but I'm telling you now it's session 2, and I expect to see that in your notebook. You do need your notebooks for this class today, this lesson, this assignment, so make sure you have them out. Your I can statement is I can read nonfiction with a questioning stance. We're going to be talking about believers and doubters today. Um, all of us, all of us are both. Sometimes we are believers and sometimes we're doubters. It's just natural. So today we're going to make a decision. We're going to make a choice and stick by it. And we're going to read an article about Afghans, Afghanistan's underground girls, and you'll find out what those are when you read the article. Um, that is the only assignment I have for you today, other than you need to finish up everything from the week and be looking for um, probably an assignment tomorrow, Friday, that involves the notes you have in your notebook today. Um, that being said, I'm going to expect to see those notes tomorrow, so make sure that you do them. Um, let's talk about believers and doubters. Usually, if you like somebody, you tend to choose to believe things that they say. And if you don't like somebody, you choose to doubt things that they say. So when you're reading an article, you don't know the person writing it. So you have to sort of make a random decision sometimes. If you don't know who that person is that wrote the article, you might just have to look at it a little bit, skim it, and go, they kind of look like they know what they're talking about. Yeah, I'll go with it. Or maybe you won't. So, the article today, I want you to read either as a believer or a doubter, and I want you to write that at the top of your first notebook page. And then as you read the article, I want you to read it as that, as either the believer or as the doubter. And you're going to ask some questions. And if you click on believer versus doubter, you will see those questions. As a believer, I might ask myself, what does the text make me think about and why? Does the writer have a good point? Why? Why does the reader have a good point? Remember, there's no such thing as a yes or no question. Every yes or no question needs an explanation. What examples and details reinforce what the writer wants me to think, feel, or understand? And what particular examples or details explain, convince, or entertain me? I would swap out inform for entertain today. So if you're a believer, you're looking for those things in the article. If you are a doubter, then you might ask, are there any weak points in the writing? And what are those weak points? What didn't they prove to you? How do my own experiences and ideas go against what the writer is saying? Um, I truly hope that none of you can relate to this article. Where does the writer assume something he or she should not? So are they expressing sort of their opinions onto the article? And how does that hurt the article? How does it hurt the piece? What examples and details don't work and why? What in the article it just doesn't work? You just look at it and go, no, that doesn't make sense. Or what could the writer have added to support it? What questions do you still have, basically? Where could the author have better connected to the reader? How could the writer have created more interest in the subject? And that's one that you should ask yourself every time you write. Is your piece really interesting? Or are you just throwing words on a page? And what are particular examples or details that don't inform, persuade, or entertain? It's just there for fluff. What's wasted? What could they cut out of it? So if you are reading as a believer, you need to answer all of those questions. If you are reading it as a doubter, you need to answer at least 4, maybe 5 of the questions. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because you're going to look at this and you're going to go, oh, well, the believer has to ask fewer questions, so I'm going to be the believer. I don't want that. There are 4 questions as a believer. I want you to do 4 or 5 questions as a doubter so that it's equitable. And you are going to write those answers in your notebook. So when you answer the question, of course, you need to prove it, right? We're asking them to prove it. I'm asking you to prove it. So you can find your evidence in the article, copy it, and paste it in. You don't have to type anything, just copy it and paste it in. So the article is called Why Afghanistan's Underground Girls, notice that's in quotation marks, skirt tradition to live as boys. It's a little play on words, skirt tradition, because of course typically girls wear skirts, typically. These days not necessarily, but typically. So to skirt something means to sort of go around it. So why do they go around tradition to live as boys? So some of these girls in Afghanistan, they're living as boys. Well, that's kind of a provocative thing to think about. They're girls, but they're living as boys. What does that mean? That already intrigues me. So read the article. And if you are a person who doesn't like to read, which is probably most of you, on our main lesson page for today, if you click on me, I will read it to you. So you just have to listen to it. But you should have this open. And when I read it to you, I'll have the text up as well. You can see it. But you need to follow along because you're going to be making notes. And you might have to stop my recording periodically so that you can make notes. That's fine. Do what you need to do. But read this piece about these girls and the Bakapash. Um, there's so much I want to say about this, but I don't want to skew your impression of the article, so I'm not going to read it. And then down here, there are some highlights of the articles. You see, the article's not real long, but the highlights are important. This is all part of the article. So make sure you read it all. Make sure you read the footnotes. They don't put footnotes there for no reason. And once you finish reading it, you will see some questions. Of course, there are questions. These questions today will go in your notebook. In your notebook. So you can copy and paste the question in there and copy and paste your answer in there. But for every one of these questions, I expect you to go back to the article and cite your proof. So go back to the article, find your evidence, highlight it, copy it, paste it into your notebook. So in your notebook, I should see question number 1 with either all the answer choices or just your choice. Make sure you tell me which letter it is as well. And then underneath your response, give me your evidence. Then do number 2 the same way. Paste the question in, paste your answer in, and then paste your evidence in. So there are 4 questions you need to answer that are multiple guess. Question number 5 is a short answer. I expect to see a small paragraph. I'm giving you a break on this one. 3 to 5 sentences. You can have more, but you can't have fewer. How does a parent's relationship with his or her daughter while she is Bakapash compared to after when she is asked to present herself as a girl again? I'm telling you, this is a good article, ladies and gentlemen. It's very interesting, and I hope you enjoy it. So that is your assignment for today. Make sure that you do this because I will be looking in your notebook tomorrow, and I'll be honest with you. I'm going to give you an assignment tomorrow based on this, based on what you have in your notebook. So make sure you have it there because tomorrow, if you don't, we're talking to 0. just so you know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the only assignment I have. Make sure that you're doing your iReady. Make sure that you're reading. I will be in Google Meet tomorrow morning, probably until about 10, maybe a little after that. I have a couple of doctor's appointments tomorrow, so you can send me an email if you need help with something, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Make sure you've read these two books. We were going to talk about them in class, but I pushed them back a little bit. Again, these, you just listen to them. You don't have to actually read them. Just turn it on and listen. Pay attention. They're both really good books. Neither one of them is very long. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you on Monday. T2 out.